Winning cures everything. Now for your hosts, Gary and Chris.
Welcome in, Winning Cures Everything. It is the Wednesday, September 8th edition of the show. I'm Gary.
I'm Chris.
And we have got some NFL to discuss. That's right. It is week one. NFL, we're not doing preseason anymore, buddies. It's not intramurals. We're ready to get this thing rolling. And I am pumped about it. We're going to talk about all the biggest matchups and give out our super contest picks at the end of the show. We do have a couple of college football topics that we want to discuss first. But before we do that, of course, the rundown. WinningCuresEverything.com is the website. Make sure you go ahead and check that out. It has everywhere that you need to be subscribed. Along with, we have entered a podcast competition. So if you would go over to the site and check it out, it is the College Football Butterfly Effect. All we need you to do is just go and listen to it. Just click the link. You can even play it on mute if you want to. Whatever you want to do. We just need the numbers. So go over to the website. That is the place that you can find it. And make sure that you listen and tell us what you think about it. You know, we'd like to hear, of course. That's not the most important thing. The most important thing is actually getting the number, right? Just making sure you click it. So that would certainly help. Yes, please help us out with that. So, but everywhere that you need to follow us, subscribe, etc., podcast, YouTube, our social media channels, all that is over at winningcureseverything.com, along with all of the different shows that we do. Chris hosts a college football show for sportsbookreview.com, and I host a college football show for BetUS. You can find the links to both of those in the description below if you want to subscribe to the YouTube channels there, or we post them up on the website, so you can always watch there as well. So go ahead and check those out, winningcureseverything.com. And, of course, the show, brought to you by BetUS.com, where the game begins. You can get a 125% deposit bonus. Just use the promo code NCAAF2021. The link in the description makes it where you don't even have to enter the promo code. You can just click the link, and it's going to automatically put in the promo code for you so that you can sign up and get a 125% deposit bonus up to $2,500. And that is Sportsbook exclusive. And I got to tell you, fantastic Sportsbook. I've been using them forever. I cannot stress how awesome they are to work with. So go ahead and check it out. BetUS.com, where the game begins. Chris, we're going to start off topic number one here. This is a weird coaching situation, coaching change at UConn. Randy Edsall announced on Sunday that he was stepping down at the end of the season. Now, he is 6-32 since he got back to UConn. He left UConn and went to Maryland to coach for a little while, got fired from there, and was brought back in at UConn, and since then has not performed very well. But I don't believe that it's all on him. But then on Monday, the school just announces, you know what? Never mind. He's stepping down immediately. Like, we're not going to just wait until the end of the season to get this done. We're just going to go ahead and rip off the Band-Aid. It's not Spanos. I forget the guy's name. He's going to be the interim head coach. He's the defensive coordinator. I
think it is Spanos.
Is it Spanos? Okay.
Yeah, I'm almost positive it is.
So that situation is strange to me, because why would he announce on Sunday that he is stepping down effective at the end of the season, and then the school comes out and says, nah, we want you to go ahead and go. This is a university that does not care about their football program. This is not a football program, but a university that is still living in the late 80s and early 90s, when the Big East basketball brands were the ones that were bringing in the money. Everything has shifted since then. It's not the same anymore. If you want to have a big-time football program, you can do that. And it doesn't even have to be that big time for you to actually make money off of the product. I don't understand what is going on with this coaching change. I don't understand what they're trying to do, because remember, they were in the AAC and left, leaving their football program no conference. I don't know what they're trying to do. I don't know who would take the job. I have no idea what's going on. Do you have any thoughts on this?
Well, yeah, and I think I understand what the administration is doing. So I disagree on the fact that they don't care. just like 2 years ago, they spent a shitload of money for UConn. Now, not for Alabama and Clemson and LSU, but for UConn on updating their football facilities and updating their locker room and things like that. You don't spend that much money on your locker room if you don't care about football. There's nobody making you do that.
True.
You do that because you do care and you want to be good. All right. So I take umbrage with that. I think they do care. I just don't think they're good, and that's different. All right, here's what I think. I think Ramsey Edsall realized after that game Saturday that he was going to be fired, and he wanted to get the rest of the season out of the way. And so I think he believed, if I come out and I say I'm going to leave at the end of the year, they'll let me finish the year. That's what I believe happened. And people in the athletic department said, no, you don't get to make any athletic decisions anymore. No, we're not doing this rest of the year shit. You're out now. I think they didn't like him coming out and kind of forcing their hand. Maybe if he would have called them and told them he wanted to retire and they spoke about it, maybe they could have had a cordial, parting of the ways. But I think this was him trying to make sure he got the rest of the year because he saw the writing on the wall and he didn't think he was going to be fired. He didn't want to be embarrassed and fired in the middle of the season. I think that's what happened. And I think this school does care enough to where they said, no, we're not waiting till the end of the year, sir. I don't care what you've done for us in the past. I don't care how long you've been around. You're out of here. There's the door. Get your shit.
It did. I mean, it was embarrassing. I mean, they lost by double digits to Holy Cross on Saturday. Yeah. But I also don't know what to expect from a football program that did not play for 2 years, So I
wonder how much of that is administration's decision, how much of that was coaching's decision. I don't know the answer to any of those things.
I don't either, but it is strange. So UConn, not exactly a big football topic on the show usually, but they let us off today. Let's go ahead and move to I'm curious your thoughts on Cincinnati. Okay. I think that Notre Dame's, because we did not get to talk about this on the Sunday show, I think Notre Dame's win over Florida State on Sunday night in overtime actually saved Cincinnati's chances at a playoff berth. I went back and I looked at the Bearcats and UCF a little bit with their comeback win over Boise State. Because if you look at Cincinnati's schedule now, after what happened this weekend, they whipped up on Miami of Ohio. They've got Murray State coming up. But then Indiana, which was supposed to be a big game, Indiana went to Kinnick Stadium, and Iowa beat them to death, 34-6. You got Notre Dame after that. You got Temple, who got destroyed by Rutgers. You've got UCF. Then you've got Navy, who got whipped by Marshall by like 42 points. You got Tulane, who put up a valiant effort against Oklahoma. Then you've got Tulsa, who got beat at home by UC Davis. USF got beat by 45 against NC State. Then you've got SMU, and then East Carolina lost by a couple of touchdowns to App State. Their opponents did not do them any favors this year. Do you think this is week one way overreaction? But I kind of feel like Notre Dame and UCF were the saving graces for Cincinnati this weekend.
The problem with that is you're assuming that they have a spot no matter what.
Agreed.
That's the issue. They could play the LSU schedule from 2019. They ain't letting them in.
I think you're right. I mean,
that's the problem, and it pains me to say that. They could beat top five teams. It doesn't matter. They're not going to let them in. They'll put 5 more Power 5 teams ahead of them and say, "Well, you didn't beat these guys."
If you took the 9.5 over earlier this offseason, you got to be feeling pretty good right now, because maybe you lose at Notre Dame, maybe you lose to UCF. I don't see another loss on the schedule. Like, Indiana might find a way to show up, but Michael Penix was bad, and I would hate to see that Cincinnati defense just wreck him, So I think it's probably going to happen. But, yeah, looking at the schedule, I think that's what is happening here. I think Notre Dame and UCF were the last hope for Cincinnati to have any shot at the playoff. They did move up in the AP poll. I mean,
like I said, I don't think anybody's letting them in. So
you might be right about that.
It doesn't matter what they do.
You might be right about that. All right. with that out of the way, you ready to talk NFL?
Yeah.
We're going to give some picks on the biggest games. We're going to discuss, preview, etc. And we're going to start on Thursday night. We got the Cowboys going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Bucs are an 8-point favorite. Total is 52. Odds provided by BetUS. Click the link in the description to get a deposit bonus, and it's awesome. I'm telling you, the promo code's down there. So, Cowboys and Bucs, this seemed super easy, right? Because I think the line opened at like 6.5, and I thought, man, everybody's going to hammer Tampa Bay. This is going to be awesome. They're getting the Super Bowl trophy. They're at home. This is going to be great. They're getting the rings, right? Isn't that what they do? I thought, man, like who?
Well, no, they've already gotten their rings.
That's right. But they're doing like the presentation and stuff, right? But I kind of feel like maybe this might be too many points for early in the season. I know that Tom Brady, I feel like they're going to win this game. But this was an incredibly volatile team. We talked about it in the playoffs, in the previews before. I tend to believe that this is going to be a closer game than 8 points. Now, do I think that Dallas is great or anything like that? No. But this is still a team full of professionals, and they've got a lot of weapons, and Dak Prescott coming back is going to be a pretty big night for him, I think. I tend to believe that this will be closer than 8. I'm going to take the Cowboys plus the 8 here. This is not one of my official plays. Those will be at the end of the show. But I tend to think that their defense will be a little bit improved, and they'll be able to get some stops, and their weapons will find a way to get into the end zone at least a few times. I like the Cowboys here.
Yeah, I don't. I think Tampa Bay is going to kill them. Here's the problem. This Tampa Bay team has done nothing but practice since they won the Super Bowl. Okay. They've gotten together, they've stayed together, and they have spent a lot of time together. You know who hasn't practiced at all? At all? Just not a damn snap, Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
Dak hadn't thrown a football in like 2 years. Okay. He is at some point in time, you have to play football to get good at football. Now, I like Dak, and I want Dak to come back healthy, but I don't know what Dak's going to look like. And let me tell you what's not going to help, all right? Zach Taylor or whatever the big offensive lineman's name is, went down this week for Dak, for the Cowboys. Yeah, that's not going to help. Oh, who's coming back in Ndamukong Suh, healthy and now ready to play for Tampa Bay? Like, that's not a trade you want to make, all right?
True.
That is not good for anybody's life at all if you're trying to extend the quality of your life, okay? I just think Tampa Bay is better at every facet of the game. I like CeeDee Lamb. I like the toys that Dallas has. They ain't played a defense like this.
No, you're not wrong about that.
And they haven't played together at all. My problem is not that they're not good. It's at some point in time I want to see you play together.
It's Zach Martin, by the way, the guard.
That's it.
And it is it's COVID. So
yeah,
COVID. So out dealing with that IR reserve COVID-19. So yeah, I see where you're coming from. Sometimes I overthink these things, and this seemed like such an easy play because the Cowboys were not good. They couldn't stop anybody last year. But something tells me the defense is going to look a little bit better. I think getting back on the field like this, we're going to see a little bit of sloppy play early in the season like we do almost every year. Even though the Bucs have all 22 coming back, I do think that there is a chance that this could be, a touchdown game. I mean, I'm getting a full point over a touchdown here. So I will
here's the issue about the sloppy play. Sloppy play is going to happen week 1. It's going to happen with the bad teams that are poorly coached. It won't happen with the good teams that are well coached. That's the issue. Is the first 4 weeks of the season, you just bet on coaches. You just bet on coaches. And I'll take Bruce. Yeah. I'll take Bruce all day long.
I figured you probably would.
So
moving on to Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern time, the Steelers headed to Buffalo to face off against the Bills. Bills are a 6.5-point favorite. Total is 48.5. And again, another one of those where the line looks way too easy. But this time I'm going to take it. I do not trust the Steelers team right now. I don't think the offensive line is going to be very good. The Bills had they were number 1 in total DVOA last year. The Steelers were 10th, but the Steelers also lost a bunch of dudes. And I tend to believe, like, Najee Harris is not just going to fix this. Like, this is a major, major problem. I don't trust Ben Roethlisberger this late in his career. I do think that Buffalo could be the best team in the NFL this season. They absolutely could be if they continue to build on what Allen is doing, right? So I'm going to roll Bills -6.5 because I kind of think they come out in this spot and just hammer them. I feel like this is a big win.
No, I completely agree. I think the same thing. I think this team is going in one direction and the other team is going in the opposite direction. Ben's got a lot of weapons and they're fun, but at some point in time, you have to be able to stay upright. I don't believe in Matt Canada. I just don't. So
I do wonder about that Canada relationship. What is that even going to look like? He loves to do a lot of motion, a lot of stuff.
Everybody in the world keeps talking about how much motion he's going to do and how unbelievable that's going to make this offense. And I'm just thinking, but we all know that.
Yeah. So does everybody else. Like, I don't know what it's going to be because he hasn't gotten along with honestly like a single head coach that he's ever coached under. So I don't know that it'll show itself in the first game, but you never know. You never know. So we'll move off of there. We're both taking Bills -6.5. Let's dive into the Seattle Seahawks going into Middle America, and they are a 2.5-point favorite at the Indianapolis Colts. Total sits at 49.5. Looks like Quentin Nelson's still going to be out, but apparently Carson Wentz is going to play, we think. Everything seems to be pointing that direction. I don't think it matters. I think the Seahawks have a bad taste in their mouth about the way that the season ended last year in the playoffs. I think that Russell Wilson wants to make sure that everybody forgets about all the drama that happened in the offseason between he and Pete Carroll and the front office and everything else. I think Seattle is going to come out and kind of blow the doors off of them. Now, they don't do that to a lot of teams. And by blow the doors off of them, I mean 2-touchdown win. Like, that's how I'm seeing this game because I don't think that the Colts have the playmakers to be able to stay in the game. I'm trusting Pete Carroll. I'm trusting Russell Wilson, especially, in a dome. Like, give me Russ cooking in the dome all day. I will take the Seahawks, even with the early kick and everything else for them. I'll take that all day. Give me the Seahawks -2.5.
Yeah, it makes me really nervous I don't like Carson Wentz. I don't think Carson Wentz is good at football. But the rest of this roster for the Colts is really good. Okay. This defense was one of the best defenses in the league last year. Is there a world where this is just an ugly, slow, low-scoring game and the run game of, Indianapolis can carry them? I don't know the answer to that. I think I'm with you. I think I would take Seattle in this game. I don't like it, but at the same time, man, it's hard to get excited about Carson. It's hard to get excited for what they're doing with the Colts. On off, I just feel like you just popped a bubble. Like I had all this excitement built up and he just let all the air out of it as soon as you brought Wentz in.
Yes, that's exactly how I feel. I don't think that this is going to go as swimmingly as everybody thinks. At the same time, Seattle was an underdog before all of these injuries and everything else started happening, and it has shifted quite a bit. But I'm going to ride the shift here. It has not gotten up to a field goal yet. I feel good about Seattle. I feel really good. I think the defense is going to look really good. Jamal Adams with his big old new contract, I think he's going to play well. I'm all in on it. So I will take that. We'll move to Sunday afternoon, and first game up for that one, your Brownies headed to Kansas City. Kansas City, a 6.5-point favorite, total of 54.5. Again, odds provided by BetUS. Where the game begins, you can check the link in the description for that. I want to ride the Browns so badly here because I think that they actually have overall a better roster, which may be just ridiculous. But looking, top to bottom on the list of players, I think that they've got a ton of talent in Cleveland. and I think that they can come out mad here because I don't know that this game means a whole lot to the Chiefs right now. I think we kind of saw last year. They kind of sleepwalk through some of these regular season games. Now, they win them, but it felt like last year they didn't care about anything until they got to the playoffs or until they were setting up for seeding or whatever, right? So in this situation, I think that the Browns playing with a little bit of revenge because of the playoff loss last year. I think Mayfield can come out and look really, really good. I think you got a fully healthy team this time. I'm going to roll with the Browns plus the 6.5. I think I just talked myself into it.
Yeah. No, the Browns are the right team. The Browns are the better team. They really are. They're just
the
more
overall
talented.
like? Are they the better team? Like just overall? Like I think they've got the better roster.
No, well, that makes a better team, Gary. Like they have Patrick Mahomes. If they had Patrick, let's say take Patrick Mahomes off, let's put a really good quarterback on there. Let's give them Josh Allen.
Well, let's
just swap. Let's give them Russell Wilson. They're not close to the same team.
Let's just say Mahomes is playing for the Browns.
Oh, well, if Mahomes is playing for the Browns, the wrong team's favored here by about 12 points.
Right, but what
the Browns are going to be a road favorite plus 6.
If Baker Mayfield is the quarterback for the Chiefs and Mahomes is the quarterback for the Browns,
yes.
So the line just completely flips in that direction?
Yes.
So it's all Mahomes then. Okay.
It's all Mahomes. It's all Mahomes. I mean, Hill's a great player, and they've got plenty of weapons. Well, I say plenty. They got a couple of weapons that are really good. And the Chiefs are a good football team. I'm not knocking the Chiefs. I'm not saying that the Chiefs are one of the best football teams in the league. But overall roster, the Cleveland roster is the best roster in the NFL. I just believe that.
Yeah, I tend to agree.
I think from top to bottom, they're the best roster. I think they can win this game. I'll absolutely take the 6.5.
I agree. I kind of felt like you were going to go that direction, but yeah, Chiefs were not good against the spread last year.
Listen, that game, Cleveland had them on the ropes. If it's not for the worst rule in sports, and everybody agrees with it, the helmet-to-helmet targeting hit, but they didn't call that, hits the guy in the head as he's diving for the goal line. He fumbles the ball because he gets knocked unconscious. The ball rolls into the end zone and then out of the bounds. And therefore, instead of the Browns scoring 6, the Chiefs get the ball at their own 20. I don't think the Chiefs scored on that drive, but it didn't matter. It changed the game. It changed the game completely. And that's a big deal.
I mean, it was
the Browns score on that game.
What was it, 22-17?
I don't remember the score. Yeah. I know it was tight. And I know that, anyway, everything went right for Chiefs that day. Everything. Except for Patrick went down. The Browns should have been able to close it out as soon as Patrick went down. The defense got weird, funky. This defense is way, way better than last year's defense.
I agree. So we're both rolling Browns plus 6.5. Another Sunday afternoon game, and this is kind of the Bama quarterback bowl, I guess you could call it. The Dolphins at the Patriots. Patriots are now a 3-point favorite. That line has kind of continued to go up a little bit. I believe it opened at 2, and now it's up.
It opened at 1.
It opened at 1? Okay, I saw it when it was at 2.
I'm looking at the opening line right now.
All right, so opened at 1. It's now up to 3. A lot of love for Belichick and what those guys did in free agency, what they did in the draft. 43.5 is the total. Now, I'm not playing any totals in week 1 until I see what these teams are going to look like, but I will play sides. And in this situation, I'm rolling Patriots. I think the Patriots have the better quarterback. Like I know that that's blasphemy for Alabama fans and whatnot, but I think Mac Jones is a better quarterback, even at this stage in his NFL career, than Tua Tagovailoa. So I will absolutely take the Patriots. I think they got better weapons. I think Miami last year was good, but I don't like Flores going back to New England. I think Bill's going to have something for everybody this season. This kind of feels like a revenge tour. So I'm trusting Bill Belichick here. I think the Patriots are going to win this one, not going away, but because we all know how they win games sometimes. But I do trust them to win this by more than a field goal.
Yeah, I do too. This is just a situation. They're not just getting the guys that they got in the draft or the guys in free agency. they lost more guys to COVID opt-outs than anybody in the country did last year. Okay. No other team had nearly the amount of COVID opt-outs as the Patriots. That's fine. All those guys are back. Everybody's back. This defense will not look like what it looked like last year. It'll be one of the best defenses in the league. I believe that. I think this game, I don't think Mac Jones needs to do much. I think he's going to do a lot of handing off the football. They got 5 running backs back there that Bill loves. And I think they're going to run the ball. I think they're going to do a lot of dump passes to tight ends. I think he's going to play the game safe. I think he's going to keep it low scoring. I think he's going to win the game. I think they're going to cover the 3. And that's just what I feel.
You think, does this feel like it could end up being like a 21-17 kind of ball game, like under the 43.5?
Well, under the 43.5, I don't think Miami's getting 17.
I could see it. I could 100% see what you're talking about. So yeah, I could definitely see under 43.5 here. It's one of the lowest totals on the board this week. It may be the lowest because almost everything else is between.
No, the next Denver Giants is 41.
Oh, is it
42?
Okay, yeah. All right. Well, I didn't have that one down for us, but that's low. I guess that nobody's expecting Daniel Jones or Teddy Bridgewater to light things up today, huh? All right, we got 3 more games that we are going to hit on. So let's go ahead and dive in. Another Sunday afternoon game. And this one, coming at you live from Jacksonville, Florida, the Saints are hosting the Green Bay Packers. The Packers are a 4.5-point favorite on the quote-unquote road, I guess you could say. Total is at 50. And initially, I was very much in the camp of name the score, Packers are going to, Aaron Rodgers is coming out. I trust the Packers, blah, blah, blah. I think I flipped a little bit. I think because they named Jameis Winston the starter because he has, and I know, don't pay attention to preseason, I know. But I feel like Jameis has got something cooking there. I don't think that this Saints team is going to be that bad initially. I do still trust the Packers to win the game, but how many field goal games have we seen them win, year after year after year?
Sure.
I think that the Saints, especially coming off of the hurricane being moved out, we just saw Tulane do it against Oklahoma. Go in, put up a valiant effort, even if everybody knows that they are not the better team, they still play with their hair on fire. I think the Saints are going to show up here. I'm going to take them plus 4.5. I don't know that they win the game, but I think they could. And I will certainly take them in this spot.
Yeah. I don't think the Saints are as bad as I thought they were earlier, but I still don't know that I like them more than I like the Packers. I think this Packers team is going to be pretty good. I don't know what skill weapons they've got. Alvin is a monster. He's a stud. What he does is special. I don't know, man. Aaron Rodgers is still good. He's still dangerous. It's week 1. I think he's just going to come out with a little bit of something to prove. And, he just has to win by a touchdown. It's only a 1-score game, and I'm okay. I think that's the way I would go.
All right, so rolling Packers minus 4.5. By the way, if you go over to winningcureseverything.com, you will be able to find these picks at some point very, very soon. So go ahead and check it out. There'll be a link up for it. The Sunday night game, the Bears at Los Angeles. The Rams are a 7.5-point favorite, total of 46. Do you think that NBC would have scheduled this game for the Sunday night game had they known that it was going to be Andy Dalton at quarterback?
Yes.
So this is all about SoFi Stadium, getting people in there, right?
Yep. It's a stadium play. That's it.
That is such a weird reason to have an entire broadcast dedicated to something, right?
That's what the broadcast is going to be dedicated to.
Just this brand new stadium that was open, Yeah,
because Monday Night Football is doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, no, you're right.
The next 2 games we're going to talk about are the exact same thing. Nobody gives a shit about the game. Nobody thinks the game is going to be great, but doesn't matter. We got these new stadiums that are going to be packed full of people, and we need to showcase them.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it'll be cool to see people out in these cities, but I don't know why these are the primetime games, but Either way, we are going to discuss it. The Bears and the Rams, again, Rams favored by 7.5, odds provided by BetUS, where the game begins. I want to go Rams big here because I think Matt Stafford wants to come out with a team that actually has weapons, with a team that actually has a defense, all that good stuff. The hook scares me, but also maybe I'm not scared. I think this could be a double digits Rams win. At home, new stadium. I do think home field is going to matter a little bit this year. I'm going to roll the Rams minus the 7.5 here. I think this team comes out with a little juice because of that home crowd and everything else.
Yeah, I would too. It scares me that I'm taking nothing but favorites except for the Browns. But at some point in time, I'm certain that's going to bite me in the ass. I don't care. I'm not betting on this Bears team. This might be the worst offensive line in the league. This Rams front should eat them alive. They should murder them on the defensive side of the ball. The other side of it, yeah, I think Sean. Here's what I think. I think reports that Jared Goff in the Lions camp is really bad, really bad. I think Sean McVay is going to show the world how much he carried that team with Jared Goff at quarterback. Now, some of that's on him because I told you he's the one that went to the front office and fought for him to get a big ass extension. So that's on Sean McVay. That's not nobody else made him do that.
True.
But I think we're going to see Sean actually have a nice shiny new toy, and he's going to let it out of the box and he's going to show it to the whole world.
That's the way that I'm feeling about Stafford here. I think he's actually got a good team surrounding him for the first time since he was at Georgia, and I think obviously. Stafford did play with good wide receivers. We get that. But, like, an entire team.
But it's not about who you played with.
Right.
We have watched football long enough to know coaches matter more than players.
Yes.
On a lot of these teams. They just do.
Very much.
They just do.
So, Jared Goff made it to a Super Bowl.
That's right.
What in the world are we talking about?
That's right.
All right, both rolling minus the 7.5 here. And finally, our Monday Night Football game, the Ravens at the Raiders. Ravens are a 4.5-point favorite, and the total sits at 51. Again, odds provided by BetUS. Make sure and click the link in the description to get your 125% deposit bonus. I like the Raiders. In this spot, I think it's too many injuries right now. I think the Ravens will be good in time. I think this is a bad setup for them, having to wait all the way till Monday night. I don't think the Ravens care about this game. I'm curious your thoughts here.
It's sad. It's scary. We feel the same way, but I don't care about the injuries. Like, the injuries don't bother me because they're all to running backs. And I just assume they're going to find a running back, and they're going to be able to run the ball no problem on Oakland. I think Oakland at some point in time, John Gruden realizes it's put up or shut up. I have to perform to something.
Yes.
Okay. I as much as I hate the man, I think he's a good coach, and I think he knows what he's doing. At some point in time, he's going to have to show he knows what the hell he's doing. There's a world where I could see this team being a wild card team. If that's the case, they got to win home games. They just have to.
Yes.
This team is not going to go and win 4 games and that's it. They're not going to be that bad. I don't believe that. I thought that earlier when we did previews. I don't know that I believe that anymore, which means you got to beat a beat up team. You just have to.
And it's not just the running back injuries, right? It's all the wide receivers are hurt. Like, even if they come back, I don't think they're all 100% at all. And I think they're just going to have issues in this ballgame. I think the crowd is going to be insanely rowdy because I'm
curious to see this crowd, by the way.
Yes.
Is this going to be an LA crowd where everybody in the world takes their bachelor, party to Vegas, to watch their home team play football? All right. Is this going to be like LA where 80% of the stadium are the other team's fans and not Charger fans?
I'm curious.
I'm very curious about that. That's the one caveat I don't know the answer to. How much purple is going to be in that building?
I don't know that. I don't know that there's a ton of Ravens fans that are going to be traveling or anything like that, but how many of them are already in Vegas, right? Like, how many are there?
Why would they not be traveling?
I mean, it's a Monday night early in September. It's the week after Labor Day. I assume there won't be a lot of traveling on a Monday.
Sounds like a spectacular time to go on vacation. When nobody else is on vacation.
You're probably not wrong.
All those hotel rooms just got cut in half.
That's true. That is true. Yeah. All right. So I'm writing Raiders. You are doing the same thing.
Yeah. We're pretty close to the same.
Yeah. We've only picked 2 games different. 2 games different this time. That's interesting. Interesting. You ready to do some super contest picks?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's do it. How you want to do this time?
Don't care.
We can do. I'll give one. You give one.
Well, yeah. That's what I assumed we would do.
Well, that's what I was figuring. But at one point last year, we got to where we were just listing them off. So I went back and watched. I was like, that's not a fun way to do it. And so, all right, here's my first one on our super contest picks. I'm taking the Bills at home against the Steelers -6.5. I'm not taking any totals in this, by the way. I feel like the Bills' defensive line is going to be able to eat in this game. I think Josh Allen, I don't believe last year was a fluke. I think that Matt Canada, first game as offensive coordinator, I think it's going to be a little bit of an issue here, especially against this defense. I trust that the Bills are going to be able to win this, and I expect them to win by double digits. So what's your first game?
My first game going to Atlanta. I like the Falcons -3 against the Eagles. I do think this Eagles team is bad. I do think this is a team that's going to struggle to win, 3 or 4 games. I think they're going to be bad. I think the Falcons team is going to be much improved. Just getting Dan Quinn off of your roster, I think, is going to make them better. Bringing in Arthur Smith, he's an offensive mind. The offense is going to look amazing. It's going to look better than it's looked since Kyle Shanahan left. I think Matt Ryan is going to be more comfortable and better than he's been since his MVP year. And offensively, they are going to be able to move the football. I have no idea how Philadelphia is going to stop them. I have no idea what Philadelphia is going to look like defensively. I don't really care. It's a 3-point line. I think the Falcons win this game by a touchdown pretty easily.
I agree. I agree 100%. That is my next game here. I've got Falcons -3 at home against the Eagles. I think this Falcons team is going to look insanely more competent with a new head coach because I think that they've still got some pieces there to be able to win with. I think they still got skill weapons. I don't think Matt Ryan has lost a whole lot off of his game. He's not turned into Ben Roethlisberger yet. So I do think that the Falcons' defense will actually be a little bit improved as well. I don't like the Eagles very much at all right now. Nick Sirianni could surprise me. Could absolutely surprise me. But you're telling me that you are going to get a Falcons team at home, new head coach, everybody fired up, new weapon, Kyle Pitts, that these home crowds are going to matter, man. Like, I am all in on this. Give me the Falcons -3 as well. What's game 2 for you?
I'm betting a road favorite. This is a little scary. I don't usually like doing that in the NFL. But the San Francisco 49ers are going to Detroit. This is a team that might not win a game. If they win games, they'll win a couple. I don't think they're going to win this one. Now, I got to give up a lot of points. It's 7.5. It's more than a touchdown. Man, I just don't know that scares me. You're going to see a little bit of a trend here. I think the teams that are bad are going to be really bad. Okay. And if they're playing a team that I think might be okay, I don't even need them to be good. I don't have the Falcons making the playoffs. I don't think the Falcons are going to be a great football team. Doesn't matter. I do think the 49ers are going to be really good this year. I think they can make it back to a Super Bowl again. But I think this is a great team if they can stay healthy and keep it together. And I don't care who's playing quarterback for them because Jimmy G's already done it once. If he's playing, then that means he's playing well. And I'm not worried about it. I'll lay the 7.5 on the road in Detroit.
I can get with that. That's not one of my plays, but I can see where you're going with it. I do think that I read, maybe it was last year, where if you, in games where there's a hook, like 7.5, a hook off of a key number, the favorite typically covers past that hook, like 60% of the time or 59% of the time or something crazy. Like, it's actually a pretty good value bet in that spot. So where you think that you'll get it, caught, the way that things have shifted with the new rules and whatnot, the extra points being 33 yards instead of 20, all that kind of stuff, the point numbers have changed.
Yeah.
You are just as likely to win by 8 as you are by 7. So the key numbers are no longer as key as they used to be. So, yes, I can totally see it. My third game, I am taking the Washington football team at home, +1 against the Chargers, going all the way across the world here. Justin Herbert in his second season, yes, I think he's going to be fine. I think he's going to be good. But, my goodness, he is facing a defense in Ron Rivera going into his second season that I just fully expect to be above average. We'll say that. I think they're going to be really, really good. Ryan Fitzpatrick, excuse me. I'm thinking Nick Fitzgerald. I think that Fitzmagic is going to show out in this game against the Chargers defense. Give me Washington, +1.
So I'm going to that LA game, and I think the Rams -7.5 just to play. That is one of my gambling picks. We already talked about it. We've already covered it. I don't need to cover it anymore. I just think they're a much better football team.
Yeah, I can get with that. So you're taking some big favorites. All right. Fourth game for me. Miami heading up to Foxborough, and I'm going to take the Patriots -3. I already talked about it before, but I trust Bill Belichick. All those guys they're getting back on the defensive side, and I think Mac Jones is fantastic right now. I think he's a better quarterback in this matchup over Tua. Give me Mac Jones and the Patriots -3. I did, when I initially took this bet, it was at 2.5. Obviously, you feel better at the 2.5, but even at 3, I still think that this Patriots team is going to be awesome. So give me the 3 here with the Patriots.
My next play gets a little scary. I don't know how much I love it, but I'm rolling with it. I think this Panthers team is going to be good. This is a Matt Rule play. That's all this is. Year 2 on Matt Rule, just for his entire life, is you just want to ride that horse, and you're going to do really well because the expectations are still going to be low, and you can do well. I think the Jets are going to struggle. I don't know where they're going to get a lot of their offense from. I don't know how good this defense is, and this is just simply I don't know how many great players they have on their team. I do think this Panthers team is pretty talented, and I think they're going to be very, very well coached. The fear of this is Darnold. There's a world where Sam Darnold's just a bad quarterback, and it wasn't Gase. Maybe Gase was terrible, but Sam could be just as terrible. And so I'll lay the 5.5. This is the one that scares me.
I can get you a 5.
There you go. I'll take the 5.
There's multiple 5s. So yeah, let's do a 5. So I was talking about not doing totals. I thought really hard about taking the over with the Cardinals and the Titans at 52 because I don't think either defense is going to be able to stop the other one. But I'm going to ride back with one that we've already talked about. The Raiders +4.5 at home. I think that crowd is going to be awesome. I think the Raiders are going to play really well. Ravens are beat up. I think at some point that has to matter. And I follow exactly what you were talking about with John Gruden. I think the Raiders are going to have to show up here, and I think they will. I don't know that they win the game, but I think it's a close game, and 4.5 just seems like too many points here. Yeah, give me the Raiders +4.5 for my 5th one. What's your last pick?
My last one's the Cleveland Browns. This is just not even close. I think the Browns are going to win this game outright. +6.5. That's the play. That's easy. +330 is the money line play.
Yeah, this is another one of those where the hook kind of catches it, right? Makes everybody think, oh, surely the Chiefs will win by a touchdown, right? And instead, really, the team you need to be looking at.
I think people think the Chiefs are going to win by a touchdown because people think the Chiefs are just going to go back to the Super Bowl winning. I think that's what people think, Gary. That's fine. That's fine. That's not how football works. I've watched this sport my entire life, and if you take Tom Brady and the Patriots out of it, nobody's done that.
Agreed.
We all thought the same thing about Aaron Rodgers after he won his first Super Bowl. How many has he ever gotten back to?
0.
The answer to that is 0. So Patrick Mahomes has doubled what Aaron Rodgers has done his entire career already. Not that he's not great, and not that that team is not going to be unbelievable. This coming Sunday, they will be the lesser of two teams.
Yeah. No, you're right. All right, so that wraps up our picks. Let me give the recap here. I'm taking the Bills -6.5, Falcons -3, Washington +1, the Patriots -2.5, and the Raiders +4.5. Patriots -3, right? Isn't that what the updated one is? Chris has got the Falcons -3, the 49ers -7.5, the Rams -7.5, Panthers -5, and the Browns +6.5. Waited until the very end to get his dog in there, and I can get down with it. It doesn't look like there's a whole lot to discuss as far as breaking news or anything like that. Before we go, I do want to bring up, because we talked quite a bit about the Bishop Sycamore stuff that was going on. Did you see where the coach did an interview with somebody and just flat out said, like, we're not a school, that's not what we do? Did you not see that?
I don't care anything about this story.
It is unbelievable. I don't know. He said, we do not offer curriculum. We are not a school. I don't know. I don't even know what to make of this story anymore. So go over to CBS Sports. They've got a good write-up about it. The Athletic has also been doing a lot of investigative journalism on this story. So if you were interested, go ahead and check those places out. Is there anything else that you feel like we need to hit before we head out? Let's do it then. All right, you guys have been fantastic. We appreciate you watching the show or listening to it, however you consume it. We appreciate that. Again, we have entered into a podcast competition. We would like for you to go and check it out. Go to winningcureseverything.com. There is a link up. You should be able to search for it. Just search College Football Butterfly Effect. And we talk about 10 games, 10 plays that changed the course of college football history, because there is an alternate dimension where Alabama, Ohio State, and Clemson are not at the heads of the table as far as college football landscape is concerned. So go ahead and check it out, winningcureseverything.com. Search for College Football Butterfly Effect. Everywhere you need to subscribe is over there, so go ahead and do that. And, of course, Chris hosts the SBR Picks YouTube show, college football show. You can find that at sbrpicks.com/NCAAF. I host the BetUS college football show. Both of those links for the YouTube pages are in the description. Go ahead and subscribe to both of those. And the show is brought to you by BetUS. Can't stress it enough. It's where the game begins. 125% deposit bonus. Go ahead and check it out. Promo code NCAAF 2021. And there's a link in the description that all you have to do is click it. You ain't even got to remember that promo code I just told you. So go ahead and knock that thing out. It's up to $2,500, sportsbook exclusive. Check it out. Chris, this has been fun. I'm ready for some NFL football. I know that you are as well, right?
Yes, sir.
Oh, yes. Let's get into it. You guys have been great. Thank you so much for watching. Again, share the show out. Tell your friends about it. Leave a nice 5-star review on Apple Podcast. And we see you in the comments. Go ahead and jump in with some more comments. Let us know what you think about the picks. You guys are great. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. And hopefully, all of your tickets cash this week. Thanks for checking out Winning Cures Everything. If you want to keep up with us, hit subscribe on YouTube or your favorite podcast app. Visit the website at winningcureseverything.com, or you can like us on Facebook or follow us at Winning Cures, at Gary WCE, or at Chris B. Giannini